Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's go ahead and get into Ready to Love Season 4, Episode 13, The Reunion Part 1. If you're brand new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We made 2,000 subscribers, y'all, so a huge thank you to everybody. Because y'all have really been rocking with me on these Ready to Love recaps. So if you have if you have not already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Let's hop into the comment section because it seemed like not a lot happened, but enough happened. We'll say that. All right. So the episode starts off with Tommy telling us that he will not be hosting because he has fallen victim to the pandemic. So instead, he has Tanika Ray, who he said is a friend of his and is a DC native, and she is going to host the reunion in his absence. So I'm not going to talk about clothes and all of that type of stuff because I feel like we couldn't really see what anybody was wearing anyways. But I do want to point out that Camille's foundation did not match. It seemed very, very, very dark. Like she went, like she went a shade too dark. I don't know. Zadia's eyeshadow, I don't know if it was my TV, but it looked a mess. It looked messy. It looked extremely, extremely messy. Like, I didn't care for her eyeshadow, and Cornelius in this, like, TLC creep suit. All right. And then he had a grill in, and it doesn't sound like he can really talk with his grill. It was weird. I wouldn't put a grill with that outfit, but whatever floats your boat, right? So this episode starts off with, let's talk about Sean. And they went, Sean and Sydney. Let's talk about how Sean and Sydney both were dropped in the middle of the process, but they ended up having very different outcomes. So as we know, Sean was sent home because he really wasn't connecting with any of the women. Sean is like 46 years old and he still wants to have a baby. Still wants to be a father. So a lot of the women that he was going after and that he was pursuing initially already have kids, like teenage kids, and they're done. So they asked him why he said hallelujah when he was sent home. And Sean said that he felt like there was such immense pressure for him to find something that was not there. So he wasn't comfortable in the process. He was leading with his heart, but he didn't want to be in a relationship to make it to the end just to say he made it to the end. And I personally took that as some shade to some of these people that did, i.e. Frank and Walter. So that was his biggest thing. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship and say I'm in a relationship, just to be in one, just to stay on the show, pretty much. So he said he just was not enjoying himself. They talk about, when he was when he was ambushed with Sabrina and her people, and Sabrina did apologize for that. She said that she did feel like her friends went a little too hard, and even though she apologized in the hallway, she did want to give him another more formal apology here. She said to her friends, she's kind of looked at it as, this is somebody pursuing my friend. We're going to really get into that as. And she said her friends didn't really understand how the process was. Okay, we're dating several people. Her friends didn't understand the process. And I think Sabrina just dropped the ball with that. I thought a lot of the friends actually went a little too hard the way that they were doing that in general. So we move over to Sydney, who was very, I guess we can say lucky and had a good time with the process. So they talk about Sydney being bouncing between Frank and Phil. She said that she was more drawn towards Phil because he's a more reserved, chill guy. When she first got there, she said a lot of the men were coming up to her, getting to know her, whereas Phil wasn't. He kind of hung back a little bit. That intrigued her. And then after watching it back and seeing his reaction, that he really did, he was checking for her right away, it just kind of solidified for her that, she made a good choice. They are now dating exclusively. Tanika, I want to call her Egypt for some reason, but that's not Egypt Sherrod. But Tanika asked if, if like marriage was coming next, a proposal, engagement. And they were like, a lot of people keep like asking that, like they're chilling for now, they're enjoying each other. So good. A lot of y'all said that Phil would not be with Sydney by the time the reunion came. So we get to Camille and we talk, before the segment even starts, Cornelius tells her, be careful because you know they are going to bring it. Here's my thing. To me, that tells me, Cornelius, that you know that Camille was on that bullshit. You know that she was on bullshit during the season. It means that you watched the season back and you started to see and pick up on some things that she was saying and doing, and you know that she's going to get called out about it. I just thought that was so unbelievably weird. And then Camille was nodding her head like, yeah. It's like she knew that she was going to go in under the impression of, let's portray like I'm being attacked, when that wasn't the case at all. So they talk about how Camille would make all these faces whenever the other ladies would talk about Cornelius. And we saw that, whenever they were in the deliberations or like the women's lounge, whenever Cornelius got brought up as like not connecting with any of the other ladies, Camille would make a face, or she's making a face, or like doing all that unnecessarily. And they show like some never before seen footage of her on a date with Dante, and her talking about how she has multiple personalities. And I'm like, okay, girl. So Tanika asks if they are living together, and Cornelius immediately makes a face. That's telling. That's telling that Cornelius might be using you, girl, just for a little bit of clout. But Cornelius makes a face, and then they both say no. They said that, they just want to slow down and take it day by day, really get to know each other, etc., etc. And Tanika was like, well, that's a little weird because you were going super fast, during the process. And, you were almost being a little possessive of Cornelius. Camille said no, she got a bad at it. Now, what we're not going to do, Camille, okay, twofold for me. On one hand, yes, they could have saw you early on being away. And and yes, started to, change their narrative around you. But again, they can only show what you give them. So I hate when people go on these reality TVs and say, I got a bad edit. While a small piece of that can be true, they can only air the footage that you give them. So if you are giving them reason to give you a certain narrative or to give you a certain edit, then that's what they're going to give. That doesn't mean that they are out to get you for that. And I feel like it was somebody else too. Was it Chris from Married at First Sight that liked to blame everything on the edit? So she said that she was not being possessive with Cornelius at all. And Cornelius is sitting there, yeah, no, she didn't. And it's like, Cornelius, shut up. Because like I just feel like you're making yourself look stupid too. Like they look like some clowns up there. They really did. So they asked Tanika, like Sabrina and some of the other ladies were making, little comments here and there. And Sabrina said that what they do is irrelevant to her life. And if that's what they want to do together, then that's what they want to do together. Aisha said, but let's talk about the aggressiveness and how it's only so much that editing can do. And I agree with that too. Because again, if they're showing us scenes, Camille, of you making a face anytime Cornelius is talking to another woman, or if you're making a face anytime another woman even mentions him, if you're calling him your boyfriend, that's not a bad edit, sweetheart. That is you giving them footage. That's you giving them material, and they're putting it together in a package because let's not act like we forgot that this is TV. Come on now. So Camille tells her to let's keep it classy. My thing is, Camille watched that show back. Camille saw how she was really doing the absolute most. And I think Camille is not only embarrassed, but I think she's like a teacher. I think some of her coworkers, maybe the parents she deals with, different things like that, they saw Camille for who she really is. And now she's trying to figure out a way on how she can spin this because she's not getting she's not getting the reaction that she thought from maybe friends and family, colleagues that did see the show. That's what I think happened. But, okay. So we switch over to Carrie for a very random scene. Talk about Carrie and Tyrone. Tyrone calling her, remember he called her too aggressive, and she was like, no, I'm just showing interest, and he ended up telling everybody that he was all in with Shiloh. He wanted Shiloh, and it ended up coming down to, Shiloh was the one that sent him home, and then, Tyrone sent Carrie home, and then Shiloh ended up sending Tyrone home. Shiloh couldn't be there. Shiloh, it's not that you couldn't be there, sweetheart. You didn't want to be there. Shiloh knew that she was going to have to answer to whatever happened that night after the club with Phil. And I feel like Shiloh is missing the opportunity here because if that does come up, because people have said that there were other castmates there, if they talk about the situation and you're not there to defend yourself, girl, it looks bad. It looks bad. But I'm not buying the whole, Shiloh couldn't be here. Girl, you knew that you had to do this reunion. I'm sorry, but Shiloh didn't want to be there. So Tyrone apologizes for his delivery to Carrie, how he said it. He said he could have worded it a different way. When he was talking to the men, he said the guys all understood his logic between, so-and-so could be my girlfriend and be my wife. And while he's trying to explain that, he mistakenly says that Carrie could have been my wife. And he was like, no, I mean Shiloh. It's just that Carrie's in behind me. And then my thing is like, I don't think Tyrone was ready for the process. I think the idea of dating around and dating in this capacity was overwhelming for him. I think he's the one that suffered from like the PTSD a little bit, right? I just don't think that the process was right for him. But I do like kudos to him for apologizing to Carrie because he was calling her aggressive. And he did do a lot, I think, with her, only to turn around and have to backtrack it because Shiloh sent him home, I feel like, the next week because you put all your eggs into her basket and she wasn't feeling you like that. So we get to it. So we get to Cornelius, all right? They said that Cornelius and Camille watched the show together. They've only seen 1 or 2 episodes together.
Find Cornelius by Camille Rush the show in your Apple Music library. You can ask me to play a radio station.
Stop, Siri.
Your music on a different app.
I don't. My AirPod, y'all, or my HomePod. So they said that Cornelius said that it didn't take him long to know what he wanted, and that he was not pressured by Camille. He wasn't like smothered by Camille. And I think he's saying that all just to make her not get embarrassed. I think he genuinely cares for her maybe as a friend, but the way that Cornelius is shucking and jiving right now and doing all this extra is really making it seem as if Camille wasn't kind of like smothering you, but she was. So backstage, Dante said that he didn't get an opportunity to date other women. And he didn't, because anytime, even when Cornelius had the date with Courtney, or they were like the double date, it was always like Camille was like making faces or doing anything. And I feel like Cornelius wanted to keep Camille in the tuck so that, if push came to shove, he would have someone else. But he didn't. He was, I don't know. It's giving, to me, don't go in here and embarrass me. And that's what Cornelius is doing to Camille. He's just trying to protect her. So Cornelius said that he chased Camille just as much as she chased after him. And I'm calling bullshit on that. One, because when Camille would be in her confessionals talking about, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my boyfriend, this is my boyfriend. Cornelius would be in his confessional saying, you know, we might be moving too fast. I'm seeing red flags. I want to make sure I'm, you know, able to enjoy this process. So, but, you know, Cornelius, blink if you need to be saved, sir, because it didn't look good for you. I'll say that. So Courtney said that Camille did not deter her from trying to get to him personally. You know, Courtney was expressing interest. She said, but she does understand why other women would call her aggressive, and it did come across a little bit as a bully. Camille gets extremely offended by the word aggressive and says that she wasn't being aggressive. She doesn't like that word aggressive. She wasn't being aggressive. Aisha then said that Camille blocked other women from getting to know him. And I kind of feel like, too, if you're going around saying this is your boyfriend, then yeah, we're not going to talk to him, because if y'all got something going, you know, who am I to go in and try to, you know, interject in that? Like, we're not here to be catty. We're here to find love. And she said that she was threatening people. So Sabrina and Sydney both said that Cornelius might have regrets and was pressured into dating Camille. So Camille says that she texted Aisha and asked her that if she felt any aggression. She said Aisha should have spoke up then. My thing is, I know Camille doesn't want the word aggression, because for, you know, people look at aggression, especially when it's with brown-skinned women, they look at aggression as a super, super negative term. But my thing is, Camille, you were being aggressive. Whether you meant to be aggressive or not, you were. The way that you sit up there and called that man a dumbass country bumpkin. The way that you would tell the other women, you know, he's not going to be in the bottom two no more. The way that you would call him, like, purposely call him your boyfriend instead of everybody. The way that when you got to meet his ex, that you was like, you wanted to know why she was there. Like, there were a lot of different things, Camille, that you did that came across as aggressive. What I really hate about people is people's inability to acknowledge and take accountability for what they're doing. Even if you don't think you were being aggressive, Camille, acknowledge that literally every other woman on the stage, aside from Zadia, who is your friend, saw you as aggressive. That's not an attack. That means that there is something that you're doing, sweetheart, that is aggressive. So Sydney said that they had the Brown Girls Club, and that's why Zadia is the only one that didn't have beef with Aisha. The host said that the Brown Girls Club is sad. Zadia said that they didn't separate themselves into the Brown Girls Club. She said that Camille, her and Camille took a picture, and she yelled out Brown Girl Squad because the melanin was popping. And I'm like, girl, that is separating yourself. That is separating yourself. And it's just as detrimental as when light-skinned women do it or fair-skinned women do it. It's childish is what it is, right? I am a brown-skinned woman. I'm brown-skinned. My best friend is lighter, like she's super, super fair complexion. Another really close friend of mine is a lighter complexion. If the three of us were out and we're hanging out and they yell out, you know, while they're taking a picture, Red Bone Squad or light skin or something like that, it's offensive. So it's kind of, it shows you the real type of like high school mean girl mentality that Zadia and Camille have, because they can't even acknowledge that this is childish. They can't even acknowledge, okay, I see why y'all would be offended with it. So Sabrina calls her a bitch. I don't even know what escalated there, and says that she was a bully and nasty. And Tanika, who's the host, asks if If it's not, anything like that with the Brown Girl Squad, then can Sabrina be a part of it? And Zadia was like, she just called me a bitch. Of course she can. So then that's when Sabrina was like, you're a bully and you're nasty. And Zadia gets up and walks off stage because Zadia strikes me as a woman who likes to throw stones and then hide her hand. Zadia, you have been bitchy this entire season, girl. Like, you can even see the shift where the audience, the Twitter people, the Facebook, the YouTubers watching it, everybody liked you the first episode or two, and then after that, you can slowly see Zadia's popularity and everything just tanking, and it's because of how she's been acting. You know what I mean? So they go to commercial break because Zadia done ran off like a little baby. So we come back and we talk Frank, y'all. Frank said that they asked how things are going with Frank and Moomin. Frank tells her, be honest. Moomin said things aren't exactly going up. Things haven't been going anywhere because nothing has happened since they chose each other. Frank confirmed they aren't going out. He said there are multiple reasons. And I said, damn, not multiple. But he said he still genuinely and passionately cares for her. But once the cameras were off, he just needed some time to regroup and get back to himself. I said, so Frank, to me, it's giving that you wanted to be on here for a little bit of attention and to get your name out here. You came on here to network just to meet some new people. You didn't come on here ready for love. So he said that he felt like they got too close too soon. And he apologizing for how it's all coming out right now. But here's my thing. I said it before. Frank and Moomin were simply settling for each other and just picking each other because they didn't want to leave the process not having found anybody. We knew damn well, I for sure knew damn well that Frank did not want Moomin. He wanted Sydney, but he knew that Sydney was going to choose Phil. Moomin didn't want Frank. Moomin wanted Walter, but she knew that Walter was leaning more towards Sabrina just to get his face cracked. Maybe the process is flawed. Maybe the process and the structure and the way that this goes, maybe that's what's flawed. So Moomin said that she should have listened to what the other women were saying when they all kept saying that you weren't ready. But she went out on the sleep of faith. And I feel like, Moomin, girl, you weren't all into this either. I think Moomin is just embarrassed now. So Frank said that he has been hurt before and he has some trust issues. And I'm calling bullshit on that, Frank. Because let's be real, we're all grown. Everybody has been hurt before in a relationship. Everybody has been hurt before in the past by somebody you were dating, someone you were interested in, someone you were in a relationship with. So for you to still be having that lingering feeling that you can't trust somebody, you shouldn't have brought your black ass on the show. You shouldn't have come on the show, Frank. So Moomin goes in and she's basically like, you have no idea what anybody went through before this process. So you don't know the mindset that she went through. You don't know what she went through in her past. You don't know the bravery that it took to not only sign up for this, but to have it be recorded and filmed and now aired on television. And it's kind of on some, I told you to keep your word. I told you to do this. You didn't do any of that. You really came on here and now you're trying to play victim because you have some residual hurt from the past. Frank, get the fuck. I cannot believe Frank. But I told y'all from the day he was shaking that thing, something ain't right with him. Ridiculous. So Aisha then tells him, you can't come on here playing with people's feelings. You can't play with people's emotions. And Frank starts to want to say that he didn't, but it's like, you did though. But you did. And then Zadia even says too, you got to start being friends with these women that you're talking to. And Frank is like, I'm trying. I'm trying. And it's like, Frank, so disappointing and disgusted. Disappointed and disgusted, sir. So then they start showing the clips from the various arguments with Aisha, Zadia, and Camille that have stemmed from Zadia being the one to say that we need to start shrinking down. Aisha saying, well, yeah, you need to shrink down too. Zadia saying, I don't have a list. I have two, as if 1, 2 isn't a list. And it just tries to show how everything is escalating. while watching these clips, Zadia and Camille are trying to act like they didn't do anything. They're looking shocked and appalled at everything that's going on. Naeem, who ain't said 2 words, who didn't have any matches outside of Zadia, comes in and says, well, at the first men's meeting, 8 out of the 9 men said that Zadia was in their top. He was like, and I feel like the women might have felt the way about that. And the women were all like, how the hell would we know? And it's like, Naeem, she don't want you, sweetheart. You were just a second choice because Dante paid her dust after a while. So all this ass kissing that you're doing to Zadia right now is not going to get you a date. It's not going to get you back in her good graces. Y'all are not going to try this out. So I thought that was super weird. And it's like, Naeem, shut up. And I know you've been in my comments before. We have talked on some of my videos. But like, this just made you look like a clown, sir. This was not it for you. So he's talking about how everybody is on here thirsty for friends and not really thirsty for love. And it's like, Naeem, you're being thirsty right now. Zadia is not going to date you. She only started paying attention to you when she saw that it was kind of, on starting to trickle down with Dante. But I just felt like it was so tacky of Naeem to be like, he was basically saying Zadia is better than all of y'all. We all wanted her first anyways. The rest of y'all were just kind of secondary. And it's like, that's just, it's the dumbest thing to say. So when all the women were like, we don't even, like, how would we know that? He was like, well, y'all talk to the men. The men were telling her. The men were absolutely not saying that. No one was going in saying Zadia is my first, but let me get to know you. Like, he just sounded silly. So Sydney was like, can one of the men please check him right now? Because he wants a peach. Yes. Like, Naeem, I don't want to have to put you on the cover of my thumbnail. But, like, come on now, sir. Come on now. It was very tacky. It was catty. And for you, like, you came out looking very, very catty female for you to even come out and say something like that. I was very disappointed. So Zadia then talks about how Aisha had no connections when, she ended the show with a connection. So Zadia. So the host asks if Zadia's whole beef with Aisha is the fact that Aisha ended up with Dante. Aisha said, this is what happened. She said she cooked dinner, and Camille said that she would kick everyone else's ass if they sent Cornelius home. Cornelius and Camille both were like, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because it was a topic bouncing all through Twitter. It was a topic bouncing all through YouTube, all through Facebook, hell, probably Reddit if you want to be real, that when she said it. So Camille said that it was a voiceover. A voiceover, y'all. And so Tanika is like, whose voice is it? Camille was like, it was a voiceover. So Cornelius and not Dante, Cornelius and Naeem, who, Naeem is going to do anything to try to get back with Zadia. So let me go ahead and stand up for Camille real quick, because that's her Brown Girl Squad bestie. So they're like, she didn't say that. Literally everybody else at that table heard it. Everybody else at the table heard it, but them. Everybody but them. But them 4. Okay. So roll that beautiful bean footage. So they replay it, and Camilla's like, that's a voiceover. I went like this. My mouth is not even moving. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but when they slowed it down, you can clearly see that your mouth is saying, I'll fuck y'all up. So then Camille tells Zadia, I was talking to you. That's a voiceover. I didn't say it. So Cornelius is like, she didn't say it. She didn't say it. Cornelius, we're watching it. Here's my thing. If you're going to talk shit, stand in it. You said it. So what? You said it, girl, and it's over. I don't understand, like, what is this thing about you don't want to admit to saying it? I'm telling y'all, I'm like, I feel very strongly that it has to have been something with Camille's job that is now causing her to try to backpedal and act like she didn't do all this stuff and she's embarrassed about something. So Tasia, who I forgot was there, or should I say didn't realize was there, gets up and walks off stage, said that this is ghetto. Says she has other things to do and she could have been doing anything else but being there. Said her mom is sick and she should be doing that and all this other stuff. And it's ghetto that they are going back and forth. On one hand, I see what Tasia is saying. On the other hand, Tasia, we know that you're not going to have a segment because you really didn't have too much going on. Tasia has been bad energy, has been giving bad vibes since that first time when she got voted in the bottom 2, and she has felt away and her very nasty attitude has come out. But I feel her like, why are we going back and forth about this? Camille, you said the shit, own up to the shit, be an adult about the shit, and be done with it. Cornelius, showing allegiance to your girlfriend, whatever y'all want to call each other, is not blatantly lying for her, because then it affects your credibility as a person. Zadia, girl, just shut up. You jumped into that fight for Camille for absolutely no reason. You had no reason to start calling Aisha a hater or anything of the sort. You had no reason to do that, and I mean, just shut up, sir, because you're out here still chasing the ghost of Zadia past. Lord have mercy. But this has been Ready to Love, part 1 of the reunion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let's talk about this reunion, y'all. Catch y'all in the next one.